Anyway, back to this. So the reason you are here is because your first semester grades were good. Okay, and the way our first initial cutoff to see who gets invited in the National Junior Honor Society is grades. It is an academic organization. That's one element of it. There's 5 elements, as we'll get into today. And you have to have a basic, what comes out to an A- average from your first semester of 7th grade. And so if you have friends and people like that are like, well, why didn't I get a letter? Just let them know. The grades weren't good enough. And that's really what it comes down to. It doesn't mean you get all A's, not at all. I mean, you can have a C and still get in. Okay, it is an average, and the way you figure it out is that we run basically a 12-point scale. So every grade, an A+ is worth 12 points, an A is worth 11, 10, so on and so forth. The average of your grades from your first semester have to average a 10.0, not a 9.86. If it's short, it's short. There's no rounding up. It has to be a 10.0 or higher. So that's why you're here. Okay. The next step is then to complete the application process and then be accepted. Now, some of you won't even go that far, and that's absolutely fine. And this may sound mean, but to be honest with you, I don't want you to. Look at this room, it's gigantic. There's way too many people here. And this you'll find as we talk, this organization is not for everybody. Okay? The basic premise behind the National Junior Honor Society is that we are a service organization. Okay? That is our primary goal. We want people in National Honor Society who want to be the face of Fishers Junior High, who want to go out, do good things for the school, for other people, represent our school. So there are 5 traits for a National Honor Society. We've got scholarship, character, citizenship, service, and leadership. Part of this application process is you proving to us that you meet all 5 of those. Now, you've already proven one. You've proven scholarship. Okay? But let me talk about that for a second. You know your grades. If you just got into this NJHS, okay, think about your grades for the semester. Maybe you had like a C and everything else was an A. That's pretty good. It's one class. You're probably okay. But if you were one of those who maybe had like 3 B's and 4 A's and maybe you just kind of squeaked in, I said that this semester is the easiest of your junior high career because it is. Most people, your grades this semester are the best you will get. Doesn't mean they're always going to go down, but rarely does anybody's grades get better as they continue on. And often, they get worse. Classes get a little more difficult in second semester. In 8th grade, some of you start feeling, oh yeah, I can do this. And so you sign up to take things like advanced triple honors bio, math, geometry, chemistry class. Because you think, oh, I should be in advanced classes, and then you get C's in them. If your grades drop, you can be removed and will be removed from National Junior Honor Society. You know historically what your grades are like in 5th and 6th grade. You know whether or not this may have been a fluke semester for you. Why were you just going to walk right in front of me? Those are not vegan, did you see?
They are.
So, I'm saying this because if you know that your grades were maybe like the best you've ever gotten in your entire life and you don't think you're going to maintain them, honestly, don't apply. Because you will probably have your grades drop a little bit and run the risk of being removed. So that's why I stress that. Your classes are going to get harder. Okay? The other aspects of it, you're going to prove through an application process. On this paper, there's a QR code as well as, I don't know if I put the address or not, it doesn't really matter. A QR code to a website, you just use your iPad to scan it, and it'll take you to a website that has all the paperwork you need for the application process for us. Part of the application process is you just filling out kind of some background of the past couple of years, what organizations you've been involved in, what teams have you played on, what groups do you belong to, what kind of service have you done. Now this is one we get a lot of questions on. Don't freak out if you've never done service. That is not going to keep you out of this club. You know, you may have never had an opportunity to go and do service. So we don't use that as a basis for eliminating somebody. We just want to get an idea. Maybe if there's somebody we're kind of wavering on, maybe their writings weren't that great, but we look and we're like, yeah, but you know what? They have a history of really doing a lot of work and a lot of service, so they're probably going to be okay. So it may help sway, but it's not going to keep anybody out. But you'll complete just a little bio on yourself, a little information, and then you're going to do some writing. And it's a lot of writing. Okay? There are 4 separate pieces of writing you're going to do. I want to say 4 essays, because they're not full essays, But I believe that the writing requirements are 4 different pieces of writing that are each between 250 and 350 words. That's not a paragraph. Okay? That's a good hunk of writing. You're going to do 1 proving to us that you're a person who exhibits strong character. You're going to do 1 proving that you're a good citizen. You're going to do 1 proving that you have leadership qualities and traits. And then you're going to do 1 proving that you value the idea of service. And you have to do all 4 of those. And they all 4 need to be outstanding. And we are going to be fairly strict. What will happen is you'll turn in this application with those 4 things, with this little bio, and 2 recommendation forms from somebody that you know who can vouch for the kind of person you are. We're pretty lenient on what they can be. Here's who you do not get recommendations from for. Family members. I know your mom thinks you're awesome. I don't need her to fill out a form. Okay? So if I get mom or neighbor who just lives next to you, it's not really that great, doesn't count. You do not do any of your current teachers. Okay? We're going to send a thing out to all the teachers saying, here's everybody who turned in an application. And they're going to give us feedback on you anyway. Okay, so you don't have to worry about them. Now you can go past teachers. You can get ready. Out of St. Creek, they know, it's National Honor Society time. They start getting inundated with emails from past students saying, hey, I need a recommendation. So you can ask past teachers. You can ask current coaches. To, like, if you ran cross country and you want to ask Mr. Brovicast to give you a recommendation form, he probably won't do it because I'm on the faculty council, so I can't do that. But you could do that. You could ask Mr. Zeno, okay? So if you play a sport or are part of a club or something like that, you can absolutely ask those people. Just not a teacher because you have them this year. You can ask people from church or other organizations or other sports clubs that you're a part of. If you have a job, you have anything. And you only need 2. On the website, there are 2 forms that you fill out, or that they fill out. They're very, very easy. You just print out those forms for them. You need to print 2. Even says, print 2 of these. You need both. And they just check off. Now, if they'd rather write a little letter, if they want to attach a letter, they can do that. That's absolutely fine. That can go in place of the form. For those recommendation forms, they can either give them directly to you, if they want, and you turn them in with your application, or they can send them directly to me. They can send them just here to the school, attention to me. When you open up the application, you're going to see on the very front page where there's a place for you to fill out your name and sign a little thing and put a picture of yourself. You need a picture of yourself, a current picture of yourself, not when you were 4. But it's going to say my application is missing the following letters or missing these number of recommendations. It doesn't mean you didn't get them. It means you personally do not have them in your hand. Because I had people last year who we checked, they were saying, I'm not missing anything. We'd open up, need the recommendation letters there. Like, well, you are missing. Well, yeah, I don't have it, but they're sending them. That's what we want to know. So when we get the application turned in, we know that you've already contacted 2 people and they're sending them directly to me. Okay, so that's what it means by it's missing. You have 2 weeks to get this done if you are interested. Applications are due on February the 15th. That's a Wednesday. They're due by the end of the day, before you leave for the day. We do not accept late applications. If you get sick and you're going to turn it in on the 15th, you better get somebody to drive the application into school and drop it off. We will not take it on Thursday. Okay, we are an organization that demands responsibility because we go out in the community, we do things with elementary schools, with churches, with our school. We are the liaisons of Fishers Junior High. We have to have people who are responsible. And so if you can't get your application in on time, we're definitely not going to make an exception. Okay? Now, if you're accepted, here's the basics you need to know right now. Don't worry about a whole lot other than whether or not you want to join, but here's how this kind of works. So you have an idea of whether or not you think this is something you can do. By the end of your 8th grade year, you will need to have accumulated 50 hours of community service. And community service is anything you don't get paid for or anything you do for somebody other than a member of your family. We're very, very lenient on what it is. But we do have you break it up. You have to accumulate so many hours in certain time periods. So, like by the end of this year, if you get accepted, you would have to earn 10 hours of community service before you go away for the summer. Then, over the summer, I don't care if you get hours or not, most people do. Then you have to get 10 more hours during the first 9 weeks of your 8th grade year. 10 more hours during the second 9 weeks of your 8th grade year. 10 more hours during the second semester of your 8th grade year. That's 40 hours. At some point over the course of that time, you have to have earned at least 10 more hours. Just whenever. You got 20 hours in 9 weeks. Along with those hours, you must participate in each of those 4 times in one NJHS-sponsored event. So like when we send out things that say, hey, we're going to be at Brook School Elementary Science Math Night helping out. Or we need somebody to help work concession stand here at the school. Or we need somebody to help with back to school night. Then you have to do one of those each of those periods. Just one. So that's kind of the idea of the service. It is not difficult to get hours. Okay? That you can get all your 50 hours just by doing things that we sponsor. All right? But you do need to have the ability to get out and get hours and come back to school at night or go to other schools and things like that. So that's something to consider. What you want to make sure that you're thinking of right now is whether or not you have the time to be able to do something like this, and more importantly, do you have the desire to want to do it? Are you going to be able to maintain your grades? Are you going to want to put forth the effort and time into doing this event? Now I'm going to let Mr. Broviak make a couple comments if he wants, and then I have some of our current officers make a couple of comments, and then we'll, if there's time for questions, we'll take a few questions.
Did you guys talk about it in class at all?
No, I did not.
To give you an idea, because one of the things he did not mention that I did hit with my classes is why would you even want to join our super cool Good Kids Club? Essentially, here's what it is. If you came to our school last year in February as a 6th grader on that preview night where you got to tour the building, those 8th graders who showed you around, those were Honor Society. If you came to the preview day that was here at our school prior to 7th grade where you got to tour around and you had someone show you, that was our Honor Society kids who did all of that. If you were here at the International Festival on Friday, the kids who ran everything here, those were our Honor Society kids. If at any time throughout elementary that you went through Fisher's HSE area and we had a carnival or we had a movie night or we had anything, the people running it, they were our kids. We go out there, we run everything that is in all of those different locations. As far as the 8th graders go during BEST, they're the ones that we trust in the school. They're the ones that get to go to the other classrooms. They're the ones that get to go and help the other teachers. Because we trust you. We only take the best of the best of the best of the best to get into this. It is a multi-level function to get here. That having good grades letter is only the first step. Beyond that, you're going to have to fill out an application. And then on top of that, you're writing multiple essays. On top of that, you have to get people to recommend you that are not related to you. On top of that, all 7 of your teachers have to say that you're a good kid and are not a detriment to the classroom in any way. After you've done all that, you then turn it in and we get to decide if we even want you in there or not. Because some kids are really smart and they're not good kids. And we don't want you in there, giving it a bad name. So if you get through all that...
For example, if you have ever borrowed somebody's work and then copied that work and then had me take it from you because another teacher gave it to you, don't apply. I will nix you. Because there are people in here who have a letter who that has occurred to. Don't waste my time.
This is where that whole beginning of the day when Mr. Butts say the choices you make today shape your world tomorrow. Today is tomorrow. Those choices you made, it is now shaping things. So those whole first semester, that's where some of those choices can come back to haunt you. But if you get through all of that and become those kids we approve, you get a lot of lenience in 8th grade. Because you become those top kids that we trust above and beyond all else. It is the toughest thing to do. Of past students who have come to our school, this is one of the experiences they talk about. If you are one of the ones that make it into the Honor Society and get to go through the whole program, it is one of those things that sticks with you past college. This moment, right now, and this next year, these are the choices that start shaping those big things in your life. Because of that, that's why we are so strict on only letting in the certain people that should be there. If you have questions, see me if you're a hero, see Mr. Stump, Mr. Jansen if you're a star, Mr. Sturgeon, Mr. Fossil if you're a globetrotter. We're more than happy to talk to you and answer these things for you. I will be sending my kids a letter to their parents that says, parents cannot make you do this. Parents cannot make you do this. If you don't want to do it, and your parent says you're doing it, you're going to get cut. It's going to be a waste of your time. I'm going to be telling all of my parents that. Do not make your kid do this because we will cut them. It'll come across and everything they put into it, their heart is not there. If your heart's not in it, we don't want you in our group. So tell your parents that. Go, I want to do it. They go, you're going to do it. Go, oh. And then let me know and I'll contact them and say, no, they're not doing it. And we'll just save you a whole lot of time. We'll jump through all those hoops.
Speaking of parents, parents are having a hard time with the fact that you're now becoming older and hopefully more responsible. I say hopefully. So here's what you need to pass on to them this evening. You are the one applying for National Junior Honor Society, not them. If they have a question about National Junior Honor Society, they ask you what the answer to that question is. If you can't answer that question, you ask one of us. We will answer it. You will pass the information back to your parent. I do not want to get emails from parents asking me questions about National Junior Honor Society. My response to every parent email I get will be, please ask your child. They are responsible for this information. And then I will send it and not respond. They may hate me. I don't care. I do tend to take it out on you if your parent continues to email me. Because at some point you're not going, Mom, stop emailing them. I can take care of this. You've got to take responsibility. We are very big on you guys becoming responsible and being the ones that are in charge here, not them. So if you have a question, absolutely ask us. As Mr. Brovicast said, we will answer everything. Now, right now, I don't want you guys asking questions about, well, how do I get hours? You're not getting hours. You're not even in National Honor Society yet. We'll have another meeting for those people that are accepted. We'll have another meeting and talk about it. I do want you to notice it on this paper. There is a little information down there because many of you will apply and most of you who apply probably will be accepted. It's pretty rare that people get turned down who actually apply. It happens and it will happen this year, but most people who apply do get in because you have a desire to do it and you do well with your application. On March the 3rd, that is our big kickoff for National Junior Honor Society. We stay here after school until about 11 o'clock that night. We go through a whole series of leadership practices and team building events, and we elect our officers that evening. You're not required to stay, but if you're not there, you miss out on quite a bit, including the right to choose who your leadership team is and to be on the leadership team. You cannot be an officer if you're not here. Okay? So that is a date that if you are serious about applying, that you want to get on the calendar now. It's a month out. And say, ooh, I can't do anything this Friday night. And let parents know, block it out. Now, speaking of officers, I'm going to let any of our current officers here who are here make any comments they want about this. As long as they don't cry.
Stop!
She's the one.
No, it's not.
So, does anybody want to say anything? All right, we'll start with Gracie. Gracie is our president.
So I'm basically just going to elaborate very slightly on things that they've already covered a lot. But they do talk about how you should only do this if you have the absolute desire to do this. And I think that needs to be stressed a little bit more, just because I see people, even in our current chapter, who will go to get hours and things, but they're definitely there just to get hours. So if you don't actually want to help people, if you don't actually want to get the grades for yourself, then don't do it, because there's absolutely no point and you won't enjoy it, other than that one super happy fun night, but that's it. And then from there, it just will all go down the hill.
And we have this year We ended up last year, I believe, accepting 143, sounds about right, 143 into the chapter, and I think our current chapter is in the 120s.
We've already removed almost 25 kids that we let in last year because of
Good
choices.
afternoon, Chargers. I have one announcement. The dance company will meet in the cafeteria. Dance company will meet in the cafeteria. Thank you.
All right, yeah, don't start talking, she's still speaking. We got 5 minutes before we leave.
Yeah, on that, thanks for giving me what I was going to say. It's not just this difficult application process, and then you're suddenly free, and you're in it, and you're part of it, and it's, super happy and great. You have to continue and keep up with that because you are monitored in all of your decisions and in everything you do. And there's teachers from every team. So it doesn't matter where you are or what teachers you have, but your decisions do impact your reputation in honor society.
Let me steal that real quick before Hobbs talks. The way the application process works, we have a faculty council made up of, I am the sponsor for next year, so I will not actually have a vote as to whether or not you're in. Okay, so I will advise them and I will say no, yes, if they ask, because I am a teacher who will be filling out those forms. But our faculty council is made up of Mr. Broviak, Mr. Stump, Mr. Jansen, Mr. Baker, Ms. Otta, Mrs. Watson, Ms. Riddle, and I think that's it. And maybe Mr. Henderson, he may be jumping in here. And they will be the ones who are reviewing the applications. And all it takes is for more than half of them to say, yes, you're in. So you could have, if Mr. Stump and Mr. Jansen despise you, they could vote no, and you still get in. These other teachers go, no, this is pretty good. Now, I will tell you, if Mr. Jansen does not like you, there's not a chance in the world that you're going to get into National Honor Society, because that man likes anything. Okay? If you have not killed a person 4 times, he will like you. Okay? 3, you're okay. 4, that's where he draws his line.
Alright, hi guys, I'm Officer Hobbs, as he's calling me, or Meg, or whatever you want to call me. Yes, I know. Okay,
She
so...
looks just like Hobbs from Zootopia. I mean, seriously, look at that. Exactly like Hobbs from Zootopia. All right, go ahead.
Okay, I want to say, if you guys are sitting here thinking, holy cow, how am I going to get 50 hours in? If you just sign up for a couple things, or if you help a teacher invest, you can get these hours no problem. It may sound like an overwhelming amount, but over 9 weeks and you can get 10 hours, it's really actually simple to do. You just have to have the motivation to actually want to help people before you can help people. What I say? I'm Riley, Officer Riley. And so along with being a leader, outside of school and helping people, helping other schools, you're also going to need to be a leader in our school. If someone drops their books, help them pick it up, stuff like that. Just little things help. So, yeah.
Why do we all have
I'm Officer Cassie.
Yeah, get on the camera.